If you're in the market looking for a really ergonomic mouse that can fit really well in a professional workspace, you would probably have looked at the Logitech MX Master series of mice. Well, today we have the latest and greatest from that very series, the Logitech MX Master 3S. And for some of you out there, this has been a long time coming and pretty long wait. It's been almost 3 years since the previous 3 launched. So, is this worth the upgrade? Well, we'll say right here and now. For most of you, the answer would be no. At first glance, I would say that nobody can really easily identify and differentiate between the 3 and the 3S because honestly, physically and visually looking, it's basically downright the same. The only difference visually per se would be the color choices in which you will have 2 options to choose from. Graphite and this right here, pale grey, which is like an off-white kind of color. Personally, I'm quite liking the pale grey and it does complement both my audio engines and even a white Xbox controller. In terms of design, this is as mentioned downright familiar. It still sports the same silhouette with all the buttons and wheels where they have always been, and the soft touch material is gentle to the skin. This means it is still really comfortable to use, ergonomically designed for all right-handed users. So you might be asking, well, what's the difference? Well, there are mainly 2 major differences and you'll notice them immediately when you start using the mouse. The first would be the sound of the clicks. They are very much quieter now and very similar to that of the Pro Click and the Pro Click Mini from Razer. Logitech terms this as the quiet clicks, and it manages to retain the tactile feedback from the 3 but is now 90% quieter in comparison. Now I don't have the previous 3 to really do a side-by-side comparison with the 3S, but I do have Logitech's own G303 Shroud. So this should give you kind of a reference as to how silent, or rather how quiet, the clicks are on the 3S. Of course, sound is really up to preference, but I do find myself enjoying the much quieter click noise on the 3S. On that same train of thought, it also does make quite a lot of sense in a professional environment, so you don't ever have to worry about disturbing your colleagues around you ever again. The second major difference is the new and improved optical sensor. Compared to the previous generation, the maximum DPI is doubled from 4000 to 8000. With how much working from home has transformed the workplace nowadays, the increase in DPI is definitely a benefit, especially for those of you who work with multiple high-resolution monitors, be it at home or at the office. Now of course, 4000 was already plenty capable, but the fact that you can now achieve a higher DPI should you need to, while still retaining the iconic and comfortable design is definitely a plus. Personally, I use 9600 DPI daily, so this isn't actually enough for me, but to each their own. And just like before, the dark field high precision sensor allows you to use the 3S practically anywhere, even on glass. And honestly, that's really about it. The 2 main differences that separate the 3S from the 3. The rest are, as mentioned, pretty much downright the same, such as the max speed electromagnetic scrolling or even down to the weight at 141 grams, alongside the battery life at just about 70 days on a full charge and 3 hours of use from just 1 minute of charge. In essence, this is just a slightly improved version of the 3, which is no surprise given the fact that this is called the 3S and not the 4, which is definitely by no means a bad thing per se. The max speed electromagnetic scrolling is still really great and you can toggle between free spinning or tactile. The thumb wheel is really intuitive and easy to reach. The forward and back buttons are placed right below that, which makes it really accessible, and you still have the gesture button right where your thumb would rest. Goes without saying that you can use this either on 2.4 GHz wireless with the included Logitech Bolt USB dongle or via Bluetooth, and you can toggle up to 3 profiles pretty quickly with the button on the bottom. One neat touch about that is it does actually light up the profile number you are on when you lift the mouse up. To add on, the Logi Plus software provides a ton of customization options as well. You get to basically change the function for the buttons to be practically anything you would want, and you can even access specific functions that are tied with specific apps such as Google Chrome, Adobe applications, Microsoft Office, and much more. The 3S really continues the trend of the MX Master series for offering versatility and function with form. This is just a really good everyday or productivity mouse, and the hardware and software are just solid. But that's not to say that it's perfect, because it definitely isn't. I have a few gripes about the 3S, and it's enough for me to not use this as my daily driver. The first of which is that there isn't onboard memory. That's right, just like the previous model, this still doesn't support onboard memory. This is quite the oversight in our opinion, especially for many of us who might want to use the mouse with a company device which might not allow the installation of Logi Plus. The other annoying thing about the absence of onboard memory is the fact that the mouse will revert back to the default DPI of 1000 in standby mode. So if you move the mouse from standby, it does take a second or two for it to connect back to Logi Plus and apply your intended DPI setting. That slight delay or input latency, lag, is just not ideal, and I'm really not a fan of that. But perhaps more importantly is the fact that this mouse has hardware acceleration built in, and it's turned on by default, and there's no way to turn it off without modifying it off the knob. I hate acceleration, and I think it's one of the worst things for a mouse ever. Because I'm such a high DPI user, acceleration severely affects accuracy and muscle memory. I think acceleration is fine had it still had a maximum of 4000 DPI, but now that it's capable of twice that, the option to turn it off really needs to be included. My 2 cents. Oh, and of course, because of acceleration, I would say that this is probably the worst option to use as a gaming mouse, because it just isn't great. And we're not even going to talk about latency and polling rate, because it's going to fall far behind a mouse like a Logitech G303 Shroud. So we come back to the question. Is the Logitech MX Master 3S a worthy upgrade? In all honesty, not really, especially if you're coming from the MX Master 3. All you're really getting is a 90% less click noise and a sensor that's capable of 8000 DPI. But the good thing is that the 3S retains the same sticker price as the 3, coming in at 169 Singapore dollars or 99 US dollars. But again, with that said, that is really all the improvements you're getting, and silent clicks might not even necessarily be your jam. Honestly, I wish the 3S had included the option to disable acceleration as well as the inclusion of onboard memory. Had the 3S included those upgrades, it would have been a much better mouse worthy of an upgrade and a much easier recommendation. As it is right now, while this is a mouse that's really good for productivity and everyday use, it's only worth to get if you don't already own an MX Master mouse. But if you already own one, especially the MX Master 3 or even the 2S, this isn't that much of an upgrade. It is what it is. I would say that if you are waiting for the next leap in technology for the mouse, wait for the 4. The 3S is really just the S moniker, just an incremental upgrade. And that's about it. If you have any questions, let us know in the comment section down below. If you'd like to, do check out the affiliate links as well. If you do, thanks for the support. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Till the next one. See ya!